Hello. Just so you guys know, I forgot to put the video from last week up. It's up now. It's actually loading in YouTube as we speak. It should be done in about I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So, and I apologize if you guys ever noticed that. Just let me know if you're looking for a video and it's not there. I'll check and make sure that it is. But I completely I don't know what happened. I forgot to put it up.
Yeah, hey, it's Alexander again. The what's due tonight, the 3:30. Are we gonna have enough time, or does that start like right to submit that? Does that start right when class starts?
What's
Like,
that?
do we have to submit that right before class?
No. Yeah. Don't worry about the times. No, like the three. What it was? Yeah. Whatever the problem was, 3:31.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
3-30.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about that. The actual due dates don't have any impact on the grade.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now, it goes into your grade to date. It won't in this case though, because I'm not going to put the grades until next week. Because today we're going to finish up chapter 3 and do the practice exam, and then I'll send out the exam, and then I'll be able to do next week. So nothing in chapter 3 will be due until next week.
Gotcha.
And I'll go in, and I think I may have scheduled that one. I'll change the schedule on that one. And again, it was just a complete mistake. I didn't. Give me 1 second here.
Gotcha.
I gotta change something. If I have the light on overhead, I get this really weird halo effect. But anyway, yeah. So the stuff will be the chapter 3 stuff will be due next week, and all of them are due at midnight. Whenever I have a due date, it's at midnight. And again, that's only you can still turn stuff in after the due date, and I encourage you to do it. Yeah. So, but it isn't a hard deadline. It's not like if you don't turn it in, you get a 0 and you flunk the class and you take it over and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah. So you definitely turn it in. And this one, I'm going to change the due date because I didn't know they didn't have the video up. So I'll change the due date on that one, anyways. Another thing that I don't think I must have made clear because I've gotten a few emails on it is you can take pictures of your work and turn it in. You don't have to rewrite stuff. I know some people saying that I wrote up my notebook and I'm rewriting it into the Word document or whatever. You don't have to do that. If you have it written in your notebook that or scratch piece of paper or whatever, that's fine. Just take a picture of it, and you can upload unlimited amount. So you can upload 10 pictures. So you don't have to rewrite stuff and put it into the documents and all that. Be careful if you're using your notebook to turn in the right thing, the right assignment. So if it's the handout, make sure it's turned in the handout. If it's the practice exam and all that, make sure they're in the right one. But you can definitely turn in pictures of your work. Any questions on that? Okay, well, today we're going to finish up chapter 3. And then we'll do the practice test. And let me make sure I have it up here. I do. Okay. So this is just a continuation of last week. So this is we're going to start on page 7. I think it is. Let me check. Yep, page 7. Okay. All right, so this is the last type of problem we're going to do is the what if you have more than one product? You have 2 products, or 3 or 30 or whatever it is. The question is, well, how do you do a break even? And the problem is usually not in the variable cost. Usually in the variable cost, you can figure that out. And actually, next chapter, we're going to see how you can figure that out usually pretty accurately. The problem comes in the fixed cost. Because you don't get two rent checks. You know, if they're renting a place to make the standard and deluxe, I don't know what they are, products. I got lazy there. If they're, you know, if they're making, you don't get a rent check for the standard units and the, you know, for the deluxe. Whoever's renting the building doesn't really care what you do in there as long as they get their rent. So the question is, well, what do you do with the rent? Because, you know, it's a fixed cost, but you have two different products. And a lot of times you don't sell the same amount of products of each one, and they don't make the same amount of money. So you run into the problem of, you know, you have 3 standard units are sold for every 1 deluxe. If you just took this 100,000 and said, okay, well, I'll split it up between these two, you may come up with a very skewed answer, because whatever you come up with may not be, you know, a 3-to-1. It would just be dumb luck if it came out to be a 3-to-1 ratio. What is so? Somehow we have to split this 100,000 up between these two, the standard and deluxe. So that's what we're going to see how to do today. And the first time I had a student in a class, it was the first time I ever saw this way of doing it, and it makes a lot of sense. Now it's in the textbook, but for a while there, I mean, it wasn't in the textbook, but it's kind of a neat way of doing it. I'm going to move this. I know what I can do. Give me 1 second here. We'll look at Doggy. That way you're not looking at. Oh, I lost where I'm at. Okay, here we go. All right, so the way we do it is this. We find out how much the profit we're making on each one of these is. So we want to find out how much profit are we making on each standard and deluxe. And once we find that profit, we're going to use the ratio and multiply by the profit. And this is what we're going to use to split up the fixed cost. Okay. So let's see here. We want to see how much profit we're making on, this is wrong. Oh, man. That X should be a minus. It should be selling price minus. Do me a favor. This class hasn't started out well, has it? But those should be minuses, not multiply. Okay. So each standard selling price of 25. It has variable cost of 20. So we're making a profit of $5 on every standard. So every standard one that we make, we got a profit of $5. By the way, this would be the same thing in the book as the contribution margin. All right. Deluxe selling price is 48. The reason I use profit, contribution margin sounds like something strange, but that's really how it is. How much profit are you making on each one of those? Oops, I want to do that. I want to do. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're making $5 $5 profit on each standard. And $10 on each deluxe. Okay, and the ratio is here. Find a color for the ratio. Can't find a good color for the ratio. I don't know. Like a purple. Okay, they're selling 3 purple. No, I'm kidding. They're selling 3 standard for every 1 deluxe. So that's going to be the ratio. Is 3 to 1. So our profit is $5 for each standard. We're selling 3 of those for every 1 of the deluxe. So 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 10 is 10. And the total, if you add those 2 up, is 25. And this is what we're going to use to split up the 100,000. We'll do it up here. I think I'll space it out up here. Maybe I won't. We'll do it down. I'll do it down here, I guess. Okay, so the standard fixed costs, you take the 100,000 and you multiply it you multiply it by the standard share of this 25. So it'll be 15 divided by 25. So whatever that is. So 100,000 times, well, here we'll use Mr. Calculator. 100,000. By the way, you can see both these screens if you do a side by side. If you click on the view and do a side by side, it'll show both of them. Okay, so this is 100,000 times 15. Divided by 25. Okay, so fixed cost, the fixed cost for the standard would be 60,000.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand what that 25 actually means. What does it mean to us?
And the 25 is if you keep the ratio, if you sell 3 and 1, that's what the total profit would be. So we're going to split this up by the total profit for each item. You know, the standard. So, you know, this we have 2 of them. There could be 3. There could be 30. But using this is simply a way of allocating it. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to keep this ratio of 3 to 1 because they say that's the ratio that they are selling in. So that's why we're doing it this way. If they were going to change the ratio, you could also change the ratio in here. You know, if they expected to sell more standard or deluxe. But yeah, it's simply a way of splitting it up. But if it's going like this, if you keep the ratio, that's going to be the ratio of profit for the standard and the profit for the deluxe. I think in the book they might multiply it out and say this is 15 divided by 25, which I think is 60%. So in other words, 60% of your profits come from the standard. But it's simply a way of splitting up that. Let me put parentheses around this. That 100,000, and we're trying to get it so that the same amount will be shown for, or the same ratio will be for each one of these. And we're going to do the same thing for the deluxe. Now the deluxe had what, 10? Oops, hey, take away my. Now, truthfully, you probably didn't need to do the deluxe because if you know that the fixed cost for the standard is 60,000, then you know that the deluxe must be the rest of it. But the formula works the same for both of them. I think the book's way of showing it would be this. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think it's. So what they would say is, 60% of your profits come from the standard. So 60% of the fixed cost should go to the standard. And down here would be the same for. We'd say, okay, 40% of your profits come from the deluxe, so you should get 40% of fixed costs. Now, once you get that, it's simply now you can do break even for both of them. So over here, let me fill this in completely. So how much would be for the standard? 60,000. Oops. So that 100,000, 60,000 is going to go to standard, and 40,000 is going to go to deluxe. Now, once you have that, you can now do the break even, right? Standard, the selling price, the variable cost, and the fixed costs are there. Same thing for the deluxe. Now we can do break evens. Okay. Well, let's see. I might need more room here because I'm didn't plan this very well. Okay, so again, we'll have, so this will be for the standard. And we'll say X equals units. Okay, the selling price is 25. And we don't know the units, but we know that each unit sells for 25. The variable costs are 20x. And now we have our fixed cost, fixed cost. Our fixed cost are 60,000. And our net income, our income, I should say, is 0 at break even. So now we can figure out the units for the standard. So we'll find the units and the dollar amounts. Okay, so let's see, we can insert. Okay, so let's see here. This will be 20x minus 25x is 5x. And we want to get all of the fixed costs onto the other side. So we got 5x equals 60,000. Oops. And I'm going to get those two. I'm just going to get these a little bit closer. These two are the same. Okay, so 5x, 5 by 60,000. So this will give us our units. So we'll take 5x. Okay, we want to solve that for x. So that would be 5. And 60,000 divided by 5. You're going to fit it on this paper or this sheet. Okay, so x equals 12,000. Those are units. And then if you want the dollar sales, the multiply by the selling price, which is 25. What color should we make that? Let's see here. Okay, so the 12, what is 12,000 times 25? 12,000. $300,000. I can't find any good colors here. How come? I guess I'll use that. Okay, so that would be the dollar sales. Maybe a better way to get the colors here. There we go. How about a gray? You can kind of see that a little bit better. Question on that one? Okay, so this is the standard. And we're going to do the same thing for the deluxe. I have to go on this next page here now. So this will be for the deluxe. And the deluxe had a selling price of 48, variable cost of 38, and 40,000 was the fixed. Okay, so for the deluxe, we're going to start out with the sales again, just like we did before, variable cost, and then their share, the deluxe share of the fixed cost is 40. So this would be I'm just gonna get these two closer together. You don't have to do this, by the way. Yeah, this thing, getting them closer, it's just easier for me to see it. Oops. Hey. Okay, so we want to solve this for x, so we'll have both sides divide by 10. So x equals 4,000 units. Oops. Let me move this down the page. Okay, so 4,000 units, and so we can put that in here. And each one of those units is selling for $48. So this will give us the dollar sales. What is it? 4,000 times 48. 192,000. Like, inserting more lines here is probably going to be more confusing. But this would be looks like a traffic map or something. Okay, so the break-even point for the standard would be 12,000 and $300,000 sales, and the deluxe would be 4,000 and 192,000. Now, here's the question: is there a quicker way you could have gotten the deluxe that you're going to sell 4,000 of them? So you found the break-even point for the standard, 12,000. And you came down here, we worked through all this to find the 4,000 units. But there's actually a quicker way we could have done it. Anyone? put it in
What was the
chat.
question? I didn't hear the question.
The question is, so we sold 12,000 break even. We had to be 12,000 standard. So how could we have gotten the deluxe, the units sold for deluxe? How could we have gotten that more quickly? I mean, we did it through this down here. There's nothing wrong with this. This is all right. But how could we have gotten this 4,000 more quickly, more easily?
So if it was 1/3, it would have been just 12,000 divided by 3?
Yeah. It's selling 3 to 1, right?
Right.
Yeah, so if you just divide it by 3, you get it. No, I mean, what we did here, this is right, but you could do it quickly, more quickly this way, whatever the ratio is, just divide it. Or you could use this to check your answer. If you're not sure about it, you can say, okay, well, let me try, let me make sure I did this right, and I should be able to divide it by 3 and come up with the same 4,000. Okay, so this is breaking. And by the way, if you're wondering, why I like this method, and I think why the book is kind of put it on too, and that is that it does a couple of things. Not only does it split up the cost, but it also allows the different groups to work with what they have. So for instance, this is the standard people. Let me go line here, separate comics. So if you're on the standard line, you can use this to start to try to change where your break even might be, either by reducing costs, increasing costs, or however you want to do it. You can start playing around with it. The other methods that we use, because you could solve this by simultaneously doing the equations. There's a few other ways you can do it. The nice thing about this one is you can do it as a standalone. In other words, when you do this, it's not going to change whatever's done down here. So you can now start to make improvements on your department rather than not have to worry about how is this going to affect the other department. To reallocate the fixed costs and all that. And same thing with the deluxe, you can actually, they can actually use that to work on their department. So not only does it split up does what we want it to do right now, and that it finds the break even for 2 products or more, but even better than that is, as a manager, you can now, if you're in charge of one of these lines, you can now use this to start working on improvements in your line. Whereas before, you wouldn't know what was going to happen if you were solving these simultaneously. It's not immediately clear what would happen if you were to change something. So anyway, I like this method a lot just because it gives a lot of, it gives managers more information. I'll put it that way. And again, there are other ways of doing it. You could also do this as a, you do this as an optimization too. You put it in as the income being 0, along with the ratio. But anyway, that's it. Okay, so question on anything? I know it's kind of wacky, it's kind of cumbersome. Well, truthfully though, once you this is the wacky part. This here. It's so wacky I can't highlight it. I'm making it look even wackier. Okay, this is the crazy part down here. Splitting it up by the profit generated by each of the items. And this is just to get a ratio of what the profits made by the standard versus the profits made by the deluxe. We're going to split up the fixed costs based on those items. but once you get here, this, these up here, trying to break even for these, this is just like pages 3 and 4, or like we did in 331. Oh, that video's up, by the way. It's up on YouTube. So again, the stuff for next week, or the stuff I had to do this week, that problem, I'll change the due date till next week. Seeing as how I didn't have the video up. All right. Well, let's do the last one. Oh, there's a hook on this last one here. It doesn't tell us what the ratio is. So what are we going to do? Any ideas?
3,000 divided by 18,000, then we would get 1 6.
Yep. Yep, 1 to 6. Yep. So 18,000. Okay, so the ratio is 6. So we're going to be 6 standard units to 1 deluxe. Okay. Yeah, so if they don't come right out and say it, you can figure out what the ratio is by taking, we have 2 of them here, but you could take, any number of them and see how much it is for each one. Okay. Oh, change these. Everybody change these. These are incorrect. So make sure you change those to the correct. Minus. You know what? I bet you put them in the other one too. Yep. Okay. Okay, so let's see profit. And the ratio is 6:1. Okay. Hey. Six times 15, 90. Times 30 is 30. Okay. Okay, so we have this 300,000 for the fixed cost, and we're going to split that up. By times, okay, so the standard had 30, no, it didn't have 90 of the 120. So I will take 300,000 times 90 divided by 20. Can't see my calculator. 300,000 225,000. Oops. And we'll do the same thing for the deluxe. So they didn't have 90,000, it had, or 90, it had 30. You can probably figure that one out though. If they had 300,000 and 225 went to standard, 75 should be. Let's see. $35,000. So this 300,000 I'm going to split up. 225,000 is going to go for standard. $75,000, you go for the deluxe. Okay, so you can do the break even. Excuse me. It's not. That's okay. Okay, now at this point, if you wanted to get just the units for the deluxe, you just take that 15,000 and divide by 6, and you should get the same answer. Go ahead and work it out, though. Oh, wait, where am I? 500 US times 120. Can't be right. $1,000. Okay, so that would be the break even for each of those. And again, you could have done this just dividing this by 6. Okay, here's a question for you. So the break even is 15,000 and 2,500 for the deluxe. Is this company, are they profitable? So 15,000 of the standard units you need to break even, and 2,500 of the deluxe to break even. So is this company profitable?
I would say yes, because for the standard they would have what was the number?
15,000 and 2,500.
Yeah, they would have 3,000 units left over to sell, right?
That'd be perfect. Yep. Yeah, so there's, the break even was 15,000 and 2,500. So they definitely had enough to, to be profitable. We can figure out how profitable they are. 18,000 times, you multiply those out if you wanted. But just by doing the break even, you know that they're going to be profitable. It's just a matter of how much. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's take a break and then we'll do the practice exam. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a break and we'll do the practice. Let's come back in, what is it, 7:06? I don't know. I'll go back at say 7:15. Oh, I know. I'm going to send out an updated practice. Yeah, let's say be back at. Back at 7:15, and I'm gonna send out the practice exam that has a corrected. A corrected problem for, or a corrected one like we just did. Where am I at? Just so you know, the updated, the corrected, I should say, practice exam is in the files in Blackboard, and I also just sent it to you guys. So if you have the previous one, just make sure you make that change of the multiplying to the minus. But otherwise, the corrected one has the minuses, where it should have them. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. The first problem is actually the easiest. However, it's probably the one that's missed the most. This is not asking for a break even. This is asking to calculate the income. Okay, so this would be capitals, I guess. Yeah, let's not use capitals. Oops. So our sales would be 5,000 units times $50 each equals some number. $50,000. We're going to subtract out our variable costs. Which would be 5,000 units. And the unit cost is 37. And we're going to subtract out our fixed costs. And that should give us our income. I think I put net income on there. That's really not net income. But okay, so 30,000 minus 185,000 40,000 income. The biggest mistake that's made here usually is, well, doing a break even, but also you need to subtract these. So the variable cost and the fixed cost, these both get that; those both get subtracted. You know, the sales are money coming in; these two are money going out, and this was left over. Question on that? Okay. Straightforward break even. Second problem. So this would be just like we did before. And X equals units. Solve for that. so this would be, oops, let me go back. Okay. 5 both sides by 15, and this will not come out to be a nice number. $120,000 divided by 15. Oops. Oh, it does come out to be a nice number. Oh, yeah, okay. What I was thinking. Okay, so we get X equals 8,000. And each unit is selling for $90 each. Oops. Okay, so problem number 2 is going to be a regular old break even. So 1 is find the income. 2, plain old break even. 3, it gets difficult. And you'll remember that we have to get, for number 3, it says that how much, calculate the break-even point in units and dollars. Blah, 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 blah. Excuse me. This is a mistake. Oh, man. You gotta be kidding me. Let me look at something really quick. Give me 1 second. You know, like I realize this is. I forgot I worded it in the handout. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to change this to calculate the calculate the sales necessary for the target income. So we're looking at the target income here. Not this one. So change that one. So this is for the target income. Okay, and this is the income after taxes, and we need the income before taxes. So we're going to divide this by 1 minus the tax rate. And this will equal our before tax income. Okay, so this is look like this. So divided by 1 minus, and this tax rate 25% is the same thing as 0.25. $180,000 divided by 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75. So 180,000 divided by 0.75 is 240,000. So this will be our before tax income. And from there, it is, we're just going to use these up here. Hey, it's not letting me highlight that. Anyway, okay, so this is to break even like we did here. Similar to a break even, I should say. Selling price was 42. Variable cost was 30. Fixed cost was 600,000. And the income, and this would be income before tax income. Oops. Okay, so that I think is, let me check and make sure I'm making errors here today. So So this would be your setup. So $42.30. And again, once you get this number, then the rest of it's not very difficult. So just chunking it out. And again, this is the same one. It's just I just got them closer together. Divide each side by 12. Okay, so it's 70,000 units. So we get say that 70,000 units or 2,940,000 in sales to make a before tax income of 240,000 to have an after tax income of 180,000 because the government's going to take 25% of this away. Oops. Question on that? All right. And this is one of the fun ones we just did. All right, I'll give you guys a second. You guys see, you can set this one up. Sorry about that. Still muted. Okay, so okay, deluxe. Or 95, 65, and 150. ratio? 5-1? Okay. Okay, any questions? You guys asleep? Don't blame me. I almost fell asleep myself. Okay. So this was going to get turned in. Well, I'll redo the chapter 3. Let's see what problem that was. I'll change the due date on that one. And the video is posted right now. And then I'm going to send the chapter 3 practice exam, or I should say handout first. And then I'll be sending out shortly chapter 3 exam. And I'm going to look over that to make sure that they're all correct. So this is week 6. And this video for week 5 is up now. So this will be, I'll be making a assignment for these 3 in Blackboard. And I'll be sending out this, I'll be sent out probably tonight. Oops. This video, I'm gonna make sure that I get this posted tonight. Hopefully, I'll get this out tonight. So, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Hmm? Hello? Okay. All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you in a week. I also have office hours on Friday. They're posted in Blackboard, but you can also, if you need other times to set up, I can have office hours almost any time. The only times I can't teach, I do it as at night, Monday through Friday, because I have night classes and then tutoring on Friday night. Okay. Well, all right. I'll talk to you guys, and later on tonight, I'll send out the exam, the Chapter 3 exam, and it's going to follow very similarly to the Chapter 3 practice exam. So that'll be similar to that. Any questions? Okay, guys. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.